Hey, this is Charles Onyett for IGN PC, here to review Neverwinter Nights 2. So this game gives you a more robust and engaging single-player experience than the first Neverwinter Nights. You create your character, which is an incredibly complicated process, and if you were to examine all the options, it could take around an hour. It did for me. You start out in a town called West Harbor, and after a brief tutorial, you set off on the main quest. When you begin, you're basically making your way towards Neverwinter. You don't start in the city like in the first one. And there's some side quests you can pick up along the way, but it's generally linear until you get to the city. Once you finally get there, things open up a little bit, and eventually you get access to your own stronghold. And this is where it really sort of opens up, because you can bring in merchants, you can bring in vendors, assign troop training, bring in sergeants, and basically garrison this castle and repair it and make it your house, sort of a Suikoden thing going on there. And that's a lot of fun to fool around with, and helps add some variety to the gameplay. One of the major reasons it's a lot of fun is because you have fully controllable and equipable teammates this time. That means you can access their inventories, you can equip them with whatever you want, you can level them up, and while on the battlefield you can select them and give them directions on where to go and give them attacks and so on and so forth. So that really helps deepen the single player experience, because instead of just playing with one character, you're playing with four, which makes playing Neverwinter Nights 2 a lot more similar to something like Planescape Torment or Baldur's Gate 2, which is great. So in addition to the single player, you can also play the campaign online, so that can really extend the gameplay value if you've beaten it already by yourself and just want to play with other people. Now, of course, as with the first Neverwinter Nights, the game comes with an extremely detailed tool set where you can basically use the tools the developers used to create the original campaign to make your own, and then you can load those online and play them with other people as well, which really extends the replay value of this game. The game's got a great soundtrack. It's got a lot of voice dialogue. Pretty much every character that you come in contact with and joins your party, you can talk to and engage in these lengthy, fully voiced conversations, and many of the NPCs you go to get quests and that sort of thing will also be talking with you. So you'll spend a lot of the game in dialogue screens, and you've got some pretty funny conversational options sometimes. The soundtrack's really good too. Overall, the game's got a really strong audio component. Now for the graphics, it's kind of wishy-washy. Some of the environments are pretty dull. A lot of the character models they just look bad. The armor's nicely detailed, and some of the monsters look cool. The spell effects are great and have a lot of shimmering and shiny effects going on that are definitely eye-catching. But for how high the system requirements are for this game, like if you don't have a top-of-the-line rig, this game is not going to run well if you're trying to run on max settings. The shadows seem to have a lot to do with that, but it's a very demanding game, and the actual graphical benefit you get for meeting those requirements it doesn't make any sense. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. The game's not without bugs. While I was playing through, some of the cutscenes didn't trigger properly, and at other times you'd have little letterbox scenes where characters would just walk directly out of the frame while they were talking, or just be facing in the wrong direction. So it's sort of a sloppy presentation thing going on there, but that doesn't really affect the gameplay. I mean, the game's still a lot of fun. Overall, if you're looking for a really deep single-player experience where you've just got a lot of options to do things, a good storyline, and some interesting tactical RPG combat, then this is the game for you. And there's pretty much an unprecedented level of replay value just with its multiplayer and with the tool set, where you can, of course, create all your own adventures. So definitely worth it to pick this one up.